We're kind of looking at the beginning of the end of the era of the PS3 and the Xbox 360. But
it's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
It really is. Well, there were a lot of trends that arose in this generation, such as microtransactions, DLCs, long cycle life, patches, used games, long games to obsess over, and also charging for online play. Those are some things I wrote down in my notes, which is why I keep glancing down. But what do we expect to arise in the next console generation? You had just mentioned that we will likely see more of an emphasis on online play, even more so than now.
I think that is a big one. I'm stealing this observation from a friend of mine, but I think that it's unlikely that we're going to see any, like, graphics are already pretty great. The next gen consoles have graphics that are on par with about 2010, like a high-end PC that you built yourself.
High-end gaming PCs,
you put together like 3 years ago. The new consoles are going to be about on par with that. I think what we're going to see personally is, like, with increased processing speed, you'll get games that are bigger and more vast. You'll see, like, Grand Theft Auto 5 is kind of a hint of that. Like, it's a gigantic.
It's enormous.
Right, but it looks really good too.
Well, they took their time on this game. They really did. So I'm wondering, are we going to see more games that we can just, like, live in for a long time? Because, well, with DLCs we have that too. Like, don't throw away this whole world that you created. Let's add more content. People like it. So are we going to be dwelling in these places longer?
Maybe. I bet I wouldn't be surprised if you see more people trying to bring, like, massively multiplayer online games to consoles, which is something that we haven't seen very much of.
Oh, it looks like they're starting to do stuff like that with Destiny even.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked if, and there's stuff like Deus Ex Universe, which is the Deus Ex multiplayer MMO. Obviously Elder Scrolls Online, which is going to be a PC game, but nonetheless.
But also, it will be on console.
Right, exactly. I wouldn't be shocked if eventually you really, every time there's like a giant hit franchise. I mean, Grand Theft Auto Online is kind of an attempt to make an MMO out of a GTA game.
There's problems in that game in that it's online, but why is it online? There's no compelling reason for me to continue the story other than that I love GTA 5 and I want to live in this continuity. But I feel like there should be, strong reasons that would make me want to play this game and love this game. But it's just, I feel like it's more of an add-on rather than the main attraction.
I think they're going to spend a long time figuring out exactly what you just asked. Like, the game right now doesn't really justify itself unless you just like mayhem, which I do. So.
I don't, which is why I'm not there yet.
I love to blow cars up, but I get really bored when someone who's already level 20 gets dumped in the same server as me and my character's only level 7.
And just goes on a killing spree.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's no fun.
I've only unlocked light armor and they've got, like, bazookas for shoulders. So, like, sorry, noob, blam.
That's it.
I think story is going to be a big deal in the next, because we saw.
We're seeing that now with, like, these cinematic games with fantastic scripts.
Well, that's the unsung in development, I think, of the current generation. Like, all of a sudden, games were not only able to suggest good stories, but to, like, really get deep into lore and character development. The Mass Effect series, for instance, which I
love that game series so much.
Isn't it frustrating when you're playing a game and you're holding the control in your hand and you find yourself kind of tearing up a little bit when something touching happens? You're like, a game made me feel this way.
That's what I love.
That's the kind of thing that games became capable of in the 6th generation, and I think we're going to see much more of that successfully happening in the next generation. I'm anticipating it, though.
I think that's a great choice.
Absolutely.
Because I like that games are more and more reinforcing themselves as art forms, as genuine entertainment forms.
Absolutely.
I mean, legitimate entertainment forms. Legitimate. It's always been legitimate to me, but I want the world to feel that way too.
Exactly.
Something I don't understand what's going to happen, or I have no clue what's going to happen in this next console generation, is what is going to happen to Nintendo.
Oh.
They have a strategy that I can't even begin to understand. Are they going to fall out of relevance even more?
They've owned.
So arguably?
Well, Nintendo's like bread and butter for so long. People, I think, forget this because we're not 12, but their handheld stuff is what makes the company so.
Well, that's kind of why they had the 2DS.
Right, exactly.
Like, we have to make this viable to this group of people.
Exactly, and they can provide a better, like, gaming experience than your phone can provide you. But yeah, I mean, Wii U. We know that it's underperformed. We know that they're probably not earning a profit on it, and the advantage that we had was that it was significantly cheaper than Xbox and PlayStation 4.
Right.
I have no idea what's going to happen to them. Sometimes I get afraid that what's going to happen is they're going to end up like Sega, you know?
And just not be, well, they feel like now when we have conversations about like these big games, they're not Nintendo games. They almost never are.
Or if they are, it's always like they have like 4 games that they still make. They make a Mario game, they make a Zelda game, they make a Pikmin game. Apparently that's a franchise they're actually going to do something with, and then pick a franchise that you haven't heard from Nintendo in a while, like Kid Icarus or whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, I did see that on the 3DS.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a long time since they've come out with something new that's actually the same, sets the world on fire. I think the last time.
The next hot thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe what they need is to maybe let go of some of the old timers in the company.
Wow.
And replace them with people with fresher ideas.
That is blasphemy, sir, to some people.
Don't hate me, Nintendo. I love you still. Look, I love Nintendo, clearly.
Yeah,
so.
show them your tattoo.
Oh yeah, this is how much I love
awesome.
Nintendo.
That's kind of the main reason why I asked you.
That's how much I love them. I want them to be awesome again. But
yeah, but I just I have a hard time seeing that happening.